You know what separates the champions from the rest? It ain't just muscles. It ain't just strength. It's confidency. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself. That's the booty eye, langiji ojiko. And I'm here to break it down for you. Why hafadi and POPL always Hawaiian. Go baby! Posture is the first thing people notice even before you speak a single word, and it sends signals louder than anything that comes out of your mouth. When you stand tall, chest open, shoulders back, spine aligned, and chin slightly lifted, you are not just holding your body. You are commanding attention. Think about it when you walk into a room slouched over, head down, dragging your feet. The energy you project is weakness, insecurity, doubt. But when you walk in upright, steady, grounded, every single person around you instantly feels a presence. Like you belong, like you are in control. Posture tells the world how much respect you demand without even asking for it. The human brain is wired to interpret body language as a survival signal, and posture is one of the most primal, instant cues. Back in ancient times, someone who stood tall was seen as a leader, a protector, a person of power. Someone who crouched or folded inward was perceived as vulnerable, submissive, someone who could be dominated. That wiring hasn't changed, and in every interaction you have today, your posture speaks before your words do. Now imagine two athletes walking onto the stage. One walks out hunched, shoulders caved in, looking around nervously, hands fidgeting. The other walks out with a straight back, shoulders squared, slow and deliberate steps, chest expanded, head steady. Before the judges, before the crowd, before a single pose is hit, who already looks like a winner? It's obvious, the second athlete, because posture is presence and presence is power. The same principle applies in business, relationships, social interactions, anywhere you step foot. If you look like you are ready to lead, people will subconsciously treat you like a leader. If you look small, insecure, or doubtful, people will subconsciously dismiss your influence before you even open your mouth. Posture also affects what's happening inside of you. Science has proven that standing tall increases testosterone, the hormone linked to confidence, dominance, and assertiveness, while decreasing cortisol, the stress hormone that makes you anxious and fearful. That means the way you physically hold yourself is literally altering your chemistry. When you slump and collapse your frame, your body tells your brain you're weak, that you should shrink, that you should avoid challenge. When you expand and hold yourself tall, your body tells your brain you are capable, powerful, and ready for the fight. This is why confident people seem unstoppable. They use their body to reinforce their mind, and their mind to reinforce their body. Think about Ronnie Coleman himself. When he stepped on stage, before he even flexed, his posture already told the story. Upright, massive, proud, fearless. The posture wasn't just about showing the muscles. It was about showing the mindset. It was about telling every other competitor, I'm here, I'm ready, and I'm already ahead. That's the posture of a winner. And it's not exclusive to bodybuilding. It's the same posture you bring into a job interview, into a business deal, into a negotiation, even into your daily life. People decide in seconds whether to respect you, trust you, or follow you. And posture is one of the fastest, sharpest signals they pick up on. But posture is not only about standing still, it's about how you move through space. Do you take small, hesitant steps like you don't want to be noticed? Or do you walk with grounded, intentional strides like you own the ground you're walking on? Do you keep your shoulders relaxed but squared, or do they roll forward as if the world is pressing down on you? Posture is motion plus stillness combined, and the way you carry yourself tells people if you are someone to pay attention to or someone to overlook. A confident posture is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. Alignment of the mind, the body, and the energy you project. And posture doesn't just communicate with others, it communicates with yourself. If you want to feel more confident, change your posture first. Instead of telling yourself, I need to be confident, you show yourself with your body that you already are. Stand tall, breathe deep, expand your frame, and suddenly your brain receives the message, I'm powerful. That shift alone can transform the way you approach challenges. Instead of walking into a presentation with fear, you walk in with readiness. Instead of approaching a conversation with doubt, you approach with strength. Your posture becomes your anchor, your foundation, the unshakable reminder that you are in control of yourself no matter what chaos is happening around you. Confident people win because their posture eliminates doubt before it even begins. They walk into a room and everyone knows they belong. They stand on a stage and everyone knows they are prepared. They don't fold under pressure because their body doesn't allow them to. They expand under pressure, literally creating more space for themselves and for others to recognize their presence. Posture sets the tone for victory because victory begins not with words, but with how you physically show up. Eye contact is one of the most powerful weapons in the arsenal of confident people, and yet most underestimate its influence. When you lock eyes with someone, you are sending a direct signal of presence, certainty, and authority. It is not just about looking at someone. It is about connecting with them at a primal level. Human beings are wired to interpret eye contact as a marker of dominance, trustworthiness, or submission. In the animal kingdom, predators and leaders maintain steady gaze, while prey and the submissive avert their eyes. This wiring remains in human psychology today. When you hold eye contact, people instantly register confidence. When you avoid it, they instantly register weakness, fear, or insecurity. The moment your eyes meet someone else's, a silent conversation begins, one that has nothing to do with words and everything to do with power and respect. Eye contact is the foundation of communication that makes people believe what you say. You could deliver the most inspiring words in the world, but if your eyes keep darting around the room, if you look down at the floor, if you glance nervously at the ceiling, your message will fall flat. The listener's subconscious will think, this person doesn't even believe what they're saying. On the other hand, even if your words are simple, if your eyes remain steady, calm, and direct, the listener's brain tells them, this person knows it. This person means it. This person is solid. Confidence is not only heard in the voice, it is seen in the eyes, and that is why confident people win before the conversation even gets underway. Consider the greats in sports, business, or leadership. When a fighter stares down his opponent before a match, that stare isn't just for show, it's psychological warfare. It's telling the opponent, I see you, but I will not look away, and I am not afraid. In that moment, the one who holds eye contact longer often already wins the mental battle. In a boardroom, when a CEO announces a major decision, the way they hold eye contact with investors or team members dictates whether people feel trust or doubt. In relationships, Eye contact builds intimacy and connection faster than words ever could. It shows authenticity, presence, and emotional strength. Without it, people sense disconnection, dishonesty, or avoidance. Eye contact also regulates the rhythm of communication. When you maintain steady but natural eye contact, people stay engaged. Their attention doesn't drift because your gaze holds them in the conversation. That's why speakers who master eye contact can control a room. They don't just speak to the crowd, they speak through the crowd, locking eyes with individuals, shifting their gaze across the audience, and making everyone feel included. People walk away thinking, that person spoke directly to me. Even if they were in a crowd of hundreds, that illusion is created by deliberate, confident eye contact. But there is a difference between confident eye contact and aggressive staring. Confident eye contact is steady, natural, and calm. It's holding the gaze long enough to show presence, then breaking it at the right moment to keep it comfortable and respectful. Aggressive staring, on the other hand, feels hostile, invasive, and intimidating in the wrong way. Confident people know how to use eye contact as connection, not as a weapon. They balance intensity with warmth, strength with approachability. That balance is what makes their gaze magnetic rather than off. Now think about Ronnie Coleman stepping on stage. He wasn't just showing muscle, he was showing presence. When his eyes locked with the judges, there was no doubt, no hesitation, no uncertainty. His gaze communicated, I belong here, I own this moment. You are looking at the best. Before the poses, before the scores, his eye contact amplified everything else about him. The same principle applies outside bodybuilding. In any competition, interview, or negotiation, your eyes are often what people trust more than your words. Your words may say, I'm confident, but if your eyes are shifting nervously, nobody will believe you. If your words are quiet but your eyes are steady, everyone will feel your conviction. The science behind eye contact confirms its power. Studies show that people who maintain consistent eye contact are perceived as more intelligent, more competent, more persuasive, and more trustworthy. In fact, jurors are more likely to believe witnesses who make eye contact. Employers are more likely to hire candidates who sustain it. Customers are more likely to buy from salespeople who use it effectively. Why? Because eye contact is ancient proof of confidence. It signals you have nothing to hide, no fear of scrutiny, and no doubt in your position. That's why liars often avoid eye contact. It is nearly impossible to maintain steady gaze while your brain is under stress from deception. Confidence removes that stress, allowing the eyes to remain calm and present. Eye contact also strengthens internal confidence. Just like posture changes your chemistry, so does gaze. When you train yourself to look people in the eye, even when uncomfortable, you reprogram your nervous system to remain calm under pressure. At first, it may feel intimidating, but the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Soon, your brain stops interpreting eye contact as a threat and starts interpreting it as normal. That shift makes you bolder in every area of life. You walk into conversations, meetings, or confrontations with ease because you know your gaze can hold steady. Confidence becomes part of your body language, not just something you pretend to have. Even outside human interaction, eye contact trains the mind. Look at yourself in the mirror. Most people can't stare at themselves for more than a few seconds without looking away because deep eye contact with oneself forces truth. It forces you to confront your own self-image, your own doubts, your own insecurities. But if you practice looking at yourself steadily, affirming your presence, affirming your worth, affirming your strength, you create unshakable inner confidence. That inner gaze strengthens the outer one. When you can look yourself in the eye, looking others in the eye becomes effortless. Confident people win because their eyes never flinch in the face of pressure. They look at the challenge head on. They look at opportunity head on. They look at people head on. And that unshakable gaze tells the world everything it needs to know about who they are and what they stand for. Voice sets the tone for everything you do. The way you speak carries more weight than the words themselves, because tone, rhythm, and projection reach the subconscious of your audience before meaning even registers. A confident voice does not have to be loud, but it must be controlled, steady, and clear. When you speak with power, people pay attention. When your voice shakes, when your words trail off, when your pitch rises at the end of sentences, as if asking permission instead of giving a statement, people sense insecurity. The human brain responds instinctively to vocal authority. From birth, children are calmed by steady, resonant tones and startled by shaky, uncertain ones. That wiring carries into adulthood. People don't just listen with their ears, they feel with their entire nervous system, whether your voice signals strength or weakness. Think about a leader giving a speech. Two leaders can say the same exact words, but the one with a calm, resonant, confident voice will be trusted, followed, and remembered. The other, whose voice cracks under pressure or fades into hesitation, will be dismissed. The voice is a mirror of the mind. If your mind is steady, your voice reflects it. If your mind is filled with doubt, your voice betrays it. That is why confident people seem to command respect as soon as they open their mouths. Their voice sets the tone of certainty, clarity, and conviction, and that tone carries more power than any individual phrase. Voice also dictates energy in a room. When Ronnie Coleman shouted, "Yeah, buddy," or "lightweight baby," in the gym, it wasn't just noise, it was an anchor of energy, a signal to everyone around him that he believed in the lift, that the weight was already beaten before it left the ground. His voice created momentum, and that momentum spread to everyone who heard it. This is why in sports, war, or business, vocal calls rally people together. The tone sparks energy, the rhythm builds unity, and the volume inspires action. When a coach yells with conviction, players rise. When a leader speaks with certainty, teams follow. The voice sets the emotional thermostat of the environment. Confidence in voice is not about screaming louder than everyone else. It is about resonance. Resonance comes from breath, from grounding, from owning your space. When you breathe deep into your diaphragm, your voice carries naturally, strong but not strained, firm but not forced. People hear the depth of confidence when the voice comes from the core rather than from the throat. Shallow breathing produces shaky words. Rounded breathing produces unshakable presence. This is why actors, singers, and great speakers all train their breath before training their words. Without breath, the voice collapses. With breath, the voice expands, and with expansion comes authority. The rhythm of the voice also signals confidence. Rushed, rapid-fire speech often signals nerves. It feels like the speaker is afraid of losing attention, so they cram words in before someone cuts them off. Confident speakers slow down. They understand that silence is not the enemy, but an ally. Pauses carry power because they show control. They let the audience absorb. They let the message sink in. They let the speaker stand firm without fear of interruption. The person who controls the rhythm of their speech controls the tempo of the room. When you listen to someone who speaks with deliberate pacing, you feel calm, secure, and attentive. When you listen to someone who speeds through every line, you feel anxious, restless, and doubtful. Tone is another weapon. A monotone voice drains energy, while a voice with controlled variation engages and captivates. Confidence does not mean wild fluctuation. It means knowing when to emphasize, when to drop lower for impact, when to rise slightly for passion. These tonal shifts act like emotional signposts, guiding the listener to feel what you want them to feel. A confident voice uses tone to highlight strength without begging for attention. It is never theatrical without reason. It is purposeful, each change carrying intent. That intent is what separates charisma from noise. Voice also builds trust. People instinctively sense honesty and dishonesty through vocal cues. Micro tremors, inconsistencies in pitch, and forced emphasis often betray lies or uncertainty. A confident, steady voice reinforces integrity. Even if someone disagrees with your words, if your voice delivers them with grounded conviction, people respect you more than if you sound unsure. In fact, many great negotiators win, not because they overpower the room, but because their calm, confident voice reassures others. The words, "We'll make this work," spoken with doubt mean nothing, but spoken with unshakable tone can calm entire groups of anxious people. Science backs this up. Studies show that deeper, slower voices are associated with leadership, dominance, and competence. Voters are more likely to elect politicians with steady, resonant voices. Investors are more likely to trust pitches delivered in calm, confident tone. Customers are more likely to buy from salespeople whose voice projects certainty. The subconscious mind interprets voice quality as a survival cue. Strong voice equals strong leader, weak voice equals unreliable follower. This instinct operates without us even realizing it. That is why two people can make identical points, but the one whose voice carries authority always wins. Training the voice is training confidence. Just like posture and eye contact, your voice is not fixed. It is shaped by habits. If you want to project confidence, you must practice speaking from the diaphragm, controlling pace, and mastering tone. This requires awareness. Record yourself speaking. Notice if your voice rises at the end of sentences, as if asking instead of stating. Notice if your pace rushes, betraying nerves. Notice if your tone stays flat, draining energy. Then practice breathing deeper, slowing down, and inflecting with purpose. Over time, your voice becomes an instrument of power rather than a reflection of insecurity. Confident people win because they understand that voice is not just sound, it is command. In the gym, Ronnie Coleman's shouts weren't random. They were confidence externalized, a way of telling himself and the weight that he was in charge. In life, your voice does the same. Every time you speak, you are either declaring control or surrender. The volume, tone, rhythm, and clarity all add up to a message that people interpret faster than the words themselves. Those who master their voice master influence, and those who master influence position themselves to win.